And so I also was motivated by the fact that I have like no time right now, so I wanted to do a Sean contact, but I didn't want to actually have to do such things as prepare for it. So I know that so Isaac really helped put this together, and because he actually knows what's in the slide deck, he is going to have full control over when things are advanced. As this says, I don't know if you can see it because of the contrast. Slide deck karaoke, the future of mobile development, by me. My Twitter handle is designated nerd. And I don't know if you can read this, but it says "Set Up to Fail" by Isaac Greenspan. So, thank you very much to Isaac for helping. So SeanCon 2013 was a thing that happened 2 years ago. It's a thing where Sean decided that instead of having a birthday party, he would have a legitimate tech conference. And he didn't even put legitimate in air quotes. He decided to really actually have a technological conference where people would talk about things like the future of mobile at his conference. And, you know, at that point, you really didn't have a lot of options when it came to mobile development and mobile communications. You know, you had these really awesome phones that were really the only way to communicate with other people at the time in 2013. You know, Sean, you know, making sure that people could count on their devices, and that they would be really ready to move forward into the future with devices that worked well, as the leader of our iOS team here. Now here's the thing, it's always close. You're trying to figure out what the future is. The future is always closer than you think it is. It's always, you know, the iPhone 4 Steve was really something that they made for guys named Steve who needed an iPhone. And they wanted to reach out, they wanted to reach into the future and say, I want this iPhone for my friend Steve. It turned out that was a mistake because there really aren't that many guys named Steve in the world. And, you know, so Apple decided, you know, okay, we have our Steve and we like our Steve, but we're going to reach out to people who are named things other than Steve, like Sean, and like Jacob, and like Isaac. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, you want to do when you're doing a talk like this is you really want to make sure that you're prepared. So the first thing that you need to do is drink a shitload of liquor. And, you want to prepare for the future by being as drunk as possible in the present. And, you know, that way, when you wake up in the future, you're like, wow, this is this crazy new world where everything is really fucking bright. And, you know, maybe it's really fucking bright because there was a nuclear bomb that went off. But, you want to make sure that when you're reaching into the future, you're not reaching into a big failure domain. You want to make sure that there is a crater of success in the future. And, you know, it's something where if you can, you know, this is from from cloud scaling, and so you really want to make sure that if you have a cloud, that it can scale. So c'était en français et j'ai parlé français pour 8 années dans la classe. J'ai oublié beaucoup, mais voilà, c'était en bas que Concat. Voilà, c'était parlé pour PHP. Et PHP, c'était la merde. On Tumblr and on Instapaper, and he really thought about like the future of like how do people want GIFs to be shared in the future. I want to be able to make sure that GIFs are visible from anywhere, and like Marco Orman, that's why he has like $1 jillion. Oh voilà, c'était mon plus du français. So what this is saying is that you find also in the truth, which, you know, maybe the grammar on that isn't completely accurate, but you know, you really have to reach into the future to make sure that you are finding the truth about mobile development. And then say these things to sound like you know what you're talking about. When you are completely full of shit and somebody else is operating the slide deck, you want to make sure that you are just spewing bullshit as quickly and as efficiently and as intellectually as you possibly can. And you know, when you're getting ready to go into an important meeting, when you have a client who's like, "What is the future of mobile?" You know, you want to really make sure that you're holding these high power poses, and even if you're a woman, you get your testosterone up because you know clearly, you know, it's really something where you have to be very manly in order to talk about these things. You know, you really have to switch up the expectations of the people in the room. Like if you are a woman and you walk into a meeting and people are expecting you to be like nice and timid, you say, "No, fuck you! I'm here to talk about the So because this is Sean Con, we can't have a Sean Con talk without talking about pizza. So you know, there are many ways that you can order pizza from your phone right now. You can even order pita bread from your phone and use it to make a pizza that is really terrible. You know, you want to make sure that you know you have the critical ingredients of your pizza. You have your tortillas and your English muffin and your cheese. And you know, you can look at what the difference is between Lebanese bread and pita bread, and that's kind of like the difference between iOS and Android. But we're all still lying to ourselves if we say we have any idea what the hell the future of mobile begins. You know, I look at my personal career, and when I started doing this, I had no fucking clue what I was doing, and now for some reason I am director of engineering. And that was less than 5 years ago, which is fucking terrifying. Lying has really gotten me very far. So what I can tell you is that lying is absolutely the way to move forward in your career. So now we're going to have a quick quiz about what I've been talking about. So, one of the things that you have to remember is how to bullshit about calculus and matrix math. Because if you feel like you can talk about matrix math in some kind of useful format, then you can make anybody think you're way smarter than you actually are. And it's really something where, like, okay, when you're getting ready to talk to people and you say, okay, I want to sound really smart, then that's when you say, okay, the matrix R theta to rotate a point xy by theta about the origins. One of those things I know I should know, but I can never remember. You know, but here's the problem with being completely full of shit, which is, you know, always a thing. If you're full of shit, you've got standard farts. The standard fart is really just the thing that you want to do on a regular basis. You know, if you've eaten a lot of tacos, if you drank a lot of beer, for example, and you know, you really want to make sure that you're doing your best to push the art of farting forward in a mobile development. So, like, you know, all the iFart apps, you know, those are all, you know, those have all been built. But, you know, where is the fart app for the Apple Watch? To be able to say, I have pressed a button on my watch, and it has said. All right, so, you know, next I'm going to talk about 8-bit things you must know about Windows 8. Because Windows Phone 8, even though the new operating system is actually Windows Phone 10, really is the future because Windows is so far behind that it's actually, the adoption of Windows Phone 8 is going to be about concurrent with iOS 9. So it's really something that, you know, you have to be excited about. You have to be excited to say, you know what? I like that Steve Ballmer guy. I like when he gets up and says, developers, 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 developers. And so even though everything is 2 years behind, I am ready to follow Steve Ballmer down the trail to Windows Phone 8. And then, you know, you get to a point where it's like, well, if I'm going to support Windows Phone 8, why wouldn't I support BlackBerry? I mean, you know, it's clear that, you know, like 65% of devices are Android devices and 35% of devices are iOS devices, but, you know, wait a minute, so that doesn't leave very much room for Windows Phone or BlackBerry, but, you know, BlackBerry really allows you to say, okay, you know what, I want to be able to plug my phone in to anything and have it not work at all. You know, this is really the future of mobile, is making sure that you can't have your phone actually work with any computer at all. It really has to stand on its own. It has to reach out and fill a wall outlet with wall warts. And then the future of mobile will be here. Is that it?
No.
Or you can just soccer ball to the face. And then you can make billions on the App Store, which there's no way you can do that if you are not Apple. So yeah, I really want to look forward. I really want to look forward to that time where all of us individual developers and all of us individual people can just be like, yes, bring that dump truck of money over to me, and I can take those App Store billions and I can go out and buy an entire pile of tacos and a keg of Stiegel and have my own tech conference, and that will be the future of everything in the mobile. You know, the winning companies in every market are going to be the ones who figure out how to bring in and answer to the question of getting tacos to the people. If you get tacos to the people, if you get burritos to the people, you know, Chipotle on the Apple Watch has a thing called the burrito button, where you hit a button on your watch and then you can go buy a fucking burrito. And I tell you, it is an advanced maneuver. It makes you look like a computer. Are you not entertained? I don't speak Chinese, so I can't do that one. Yeah. And remember that you know, dramatic irony is really the core of mobile development. You really have to make sure that when you are starting a startup about how to start a startup, that startup fails immediately. If the background of your presentation slide is the first several digits of E, maybe you should be wondering why this presentation isn't over yet, but you can also say that it's because Isaac used to be a math teacher and really enjoys fucking with people who really don't understand higher level math. And, you know, it's something where you need to know that when you don't understand something, if you stand up and you talk about it long enough and with enough confidence, you are going to be in a position to succeed. And then that is when Isaac might or might not actually change the slide. And just let me continue to talk. Is that the last one? All right. So that, talking and talking and talking, while there's one slide that never changes, that is the future of mobile. Does anyone have any questions? It's where you take a whole computer and then you put it in a tiny computer, and then you put that computer in your pocket so that you get leg cancer when you're like... Okay, cool.